Let me take a moment here to set the stage. You click that ad expecting pure nightmare fuel, blood-soaked monsters, graphic dismemberment, jump scares, glitchy horror straight out of a Pokemon creepypasta, psychological trauma, reality-breaking dread, and a story so twisted it would haunt your dreams like Paimon and the lack of a skip button. Heart racing, you hit download and opened a bright, colorful anime paradise filled with sparkling waifus, adorable chibi creatures, and sunny fantasy maps. Congratulations! You just became another victim of one of the most shameless, long-running, and outrageously deceptive bait-and-switch marketing campaigns in all of mobile gaming history. This right here is Evertale. Evertale is a mobile-exclusive gacha game that mixes Pokemon-style monster collecting, waifu and husbando collecting as well. You know, if monster collection wasn't already enough, might as well enslave a hot harem as well, with turn-based strategy and a fantasy story. Released in 2019, it's still actively updated as of 2026 with new SSR units, new events, new story, well, new side stories and event stories anyway. As a longtime gamer who sunk thousands of hours into dozens of different Pokemon games, Digimon games, more recently Mongol Stardive, and every other monster collection game that I can think of, here is my take. The game is set in the world of Erden, cursed by the pandemonium, a catastrophic wave of evil and monsters that descends every 100 years, led by immortal Ion Lords. You follow a group of protagonists trying to break that cycle. The early stages of the story are surprisingly strong. It feels like a compact single-player JRPG, very dialogue-heavy, emotional, lots of exploration, dungeon crawling, and the leads genuinely do have some form of chemistry. However, latter parts of the game decline quite rapidly, and from what I've heard from others, what I've read online, there's no real completion or payoff of the story, just side event stories. It utilizes a hybrid of overworld exploration and turn-based combat. You roam some very diverse, vibrant maps, walk into shaking grass or areas to encounter and capture monsters or people, or at times you just get tunnel vision down by NPCs that disallow passage until you beat them in a Battles are team-based, featuring 4 active units from a larger lineup on the field at any given time. It's strategic and turn-based with status effects, elemental affinities, buffs and debuffs and synergies that all aid in creating depth. You build teams around roles, DPS, tank, support, capture and evolve monsters and characters, equip weapons and gear, use special skills that can chain extra turns or effects. In the early game, you'll probably be utilizing a lot of manual play while you work out the kinks. Mid to end game leans on auto battle for efficiency in raids, for events, dungeons, and dailies. And for the most part, it does a decent job. I've been hands off for about 2/3 of my time spent within it. There are additional modes outside of the main story: PvP arena, guild alliances, castle defense, and limited time events. Progression involves leveling, limit breaks, your traditional dupes for incremental increases in power, awakenings. Visually, it's polished with gorgeous anime-style 2D art, pretty smooth animations, Japanese voice acting, and a decent soundtrack. You get captivated in the short term. There are tons of creatures and characters that you can recruit. It's one of the things that I enjoyed the most about it. And some of the characters look damn good. Like, really, really damn good. It feels premium and addictive, like a polished Pokemon JRPG hybrid on your phone. Team building while utilizing numerous statuses and synergies rewards skill, especially in manual PvP or in more difficult events, more tactical than pure auto battlers. But they're pretty much the only positives. The game, like other gacha games, has brutal power creep. New SSR units often power creep older ones every few months, obsoleting your investments. Every type of competitive play demands constant meta chasing, otherwise you'll find yourself being dominated, not in a fun way. This isn't exclusive to Evertale, sure, but man, this is a whale dominant game. Every person that I've talked to concerning Evertale has told me the same thing. Top PvP and raids favor whales who drop big money on dupes and awakenings. As a free-to-play player, you could definitely participate, but don't count on actually being able to do anything. You're essentially gonna be there for whales to just test out their new characters on. Concerning the gacha, you pull SSR characters and weapons using soul stones. It costs 100 soul stones per single pull or 1,000 for a 10 pull. The cost itself honestly isn't bad, given that you can earn approximately 5 to 10k soul stones per month as a free player purely from dailies and events. This is okay for casual players like myself, but I mean, it's kind of terrible if you want a new character or to ever be competitive as a free player. The rate of SSR acquisition is not good at all, however. SSRs are 0.7 to 1% on featured banners, with new limited units every few weeks. Every 10 pull guarantees at least one SR or better. 500 pulls, 50,000 soul stones on a banner guarantees one featured SSR weapon, but pity resets every new banner and doesn't carry over. The pity in the game is where it really hurts though. Pity is 500 pulls or 50,000 soul stones total. That's honestly enormous investment, given you'll on average accumulate 1/10 of that per month. What's worse is that pity for whatever reason doesn't carry over. So if you opt to pull on a different banner, the pity is immediately reset. Same with if the banner itself expires. This is an abhorrently bad system, and I'm not sure why anyone at all would stick around and support it. What's even worse is the fact that you need several dupes to fully limit break and awaken your units to maximize their power. These are not small incremental changes, these are extraordinarily large and meta breaking. There is a positive to all of this, so a feature exists called the Lucky Fountain, which allows for you to twice per month dump 30,000 soul stones into it and get a return on your investment, potentially up to double. It's a feature that effectively rewards patience and saving your currency, something a lot of us as gacha gamers unfortunately lack. Ultimately, you might be able to obtain an SSR character each month, but you also run the risk of not being able to. So up until this point, Evertale just screams average predatory gacha game, but here's where the game managed to establish itself as one of the largest scams in the gacha gaming space. Evertale is arguably one of the most extreme and notorious cases of false advertising in all of mobile gaming, and it's been going on for years. Starting around the game's 2019 launch and continuing well into the 2020s with hundreds of ads, Evertale's YouTube and mobile ads painted a completely different picture. A dark, psychological horror Pokemon-style game. These were pixel art games featuring gore, blood, dismemberment, jump scares, glitches, disturbing storylines about trauma, consequences, monster experimentation, taking significant inspiration from and even ripping off entirely Pokemon, various different Pokemon mods, and even that indie Omori RPG. Many of the ads looked like they were selling this twisted, subversive horror monster collector with real stakes and unsettling lore. Some even mimicked Doki Doki Literature Club style meta horror. It was effective clickbait. It was. The ads went viral. They got analyzed by other YouTube channels like Game Theory, and they spawned entire YouTube rabbit hole videos. The reality was much different. What you get instead is a bright, colorful anime-style fantasy JRPG gacha game with cute, chibi character models, vibrant fantasy maps, waifus, and husbandos, a lot of fan service, and light-hearted monster-catching gameplay. The entire foundation of their marketing campaign is pure deceit. The ads don't just exaggerate, they show almost nothing from the real game. No actual gameplay, no real art style, no real story. It's fabricated from the ground up. Tons of people downloaded this game expecting the Pokemon horror experience they saw in ads, only to feel scammed and leave bad reviews. It hurts the game's reputation long term, even among players who ended up enjoying the actual title. The misleading campaign has been called out repeatedly in articles and Reddit threads, in YouTube videos, and it remains the first thing that many people mention when Evertale comes up. So, there it is. You came for that blood-soaked horror Pokemon nightmare that the trailers swore was waiting for you, but instead you got a dazzling, colorful anime paradise of hot waifus, cute little chibi monsters, and a heartbreakingly strong opening act for a gacha game, only for the game to slowly abandon its own story, its own players, power creep every character into oblivion, and leave you in the ruins of what could have been. Evertale didn't just lie to you, they lied to you, and then somehow convinced you to believe that they wouldn't do it again. Now let's go ahead here and break down my rating. Content, 6 out of 10. There's a decent amount of stuff to do. Story, side content, difficulty, 3 out of 10. The whale wall is, as I like to refer to it as, great and difficult to overcome. Free-to-play friendliness, 2 out of 10. Whales will absolutely dominate you entirely. Gameplay, 7 out of 10. It's honestly pretty fun. Feels very polished. Graphics, 6 out of 10. It's actually a pretty decent looking world with good character abilities and animations. Sound, 6 out of 10. It's decent. Story, 7 out of 10. It's both good and bad. It's highly engaging, but it does drop off very fast. Voice acting, 7 out of 10. The Japanese dub was honestly very good for most of the characters. Well done. World, 6 out of 10. It was diverse, filled with unique areas and lore. Fun, 6 out of 10. If I didn't constantly hit huge power walls, I would have had more fun, but I still had some. Overall, I'd give this 56 degenerate waifus, or 5.6 out of 10. This game is actually not bad at all, but man, do they scam people with those freaking fake ads.
I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you are not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.